Bye. Ready, guys?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to UTL Stadium. Where we at?
I don't know, over here.
Are we going on a stadium tour?
No, we're not doing a stadium tour no more.
Are you delirious?
No, you are.
Is it late?
Yeah.
Why are y'all up? Go to bed.
It's 12:41.
Go to bed.
So this ain't a stadium tour. This is
No, this is a recap show from week 9.
Gary Swallow.
Yes.
I think you're right, my
I
friend.
think I am.
Playing around with you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Week 9 recap show, the late night edition of the recap show. And what a banger of a week 9 it was. Week 8, they ain't got nothing on what we just witnessed tonight. It ain't got nothing on some of these scores. It ain't got nothing on some of them wows, my friend. Because if you were in the Iowa tonight, good God almighty, what a football game that was. If you look at some of these scores from around the state of Louisiana, good God almighty, what a night of high school football here in week 9. And it just made week 10 so much more sweeter because you got district championships that are set in stone. May the best man win on Friday night or Thursday night in that occasion. But you got a lot of wows, my friend. I know you excited. I know you here tonight. It's just because you just watched a great ball game. You ain't got work tomorrow, so you here to talk a little football. So, hey, we're gonna.
I gotta work and I don't care. I'm talking football.
We're gonna have some fun with it tonight. Hey, if you had a big win tonight, ladies and gentlemen, leave it in the chat below. We would love to know where you watched a football game at tonight, or if your team won tonight. Let us know in the chat right now. Who got a big win tonight? I know I see Keenan in the chat tonight. They won on Thursday night, so I mean we still accept Thursday nights in here. Joseph says Kaplan let one get away tonight. Yeah, we saw Church Point go on the road, knock off the Pirates fall senior night. But that's two good football teams that played tonight over there in Kaplan. Unfortunately, another incident outside of a high school stadium. Donaldsonville and Patterson. Wow.
Yo, kids, y'all need to just
Yes, sir.
chill, guys. I mean, this is sports. This is high school sports.
Miss Williams says Wildcats with a lot of caps and a lot of caps indeed because Coach Moy, did what he set out to do, and he finally got them off of his back and knocked off St. Martinville tonight. I can't be more happier for our friend. Keegan says, Iowa Yellow Jackets, boy, what a night. Lori says, how about them Hounds? How about 7 wins in a row for them Hounds? Jack, Abbeville score. Yeah, Abbeville's partying tonight. I see the vest in the chat right now. Go Iowa, go Jackets. Hey, what a night eating some great food over there in Iowa, Louisiana. Thank you to those guys and everyone that fed us tonight. Outstanding job.
Yo. Can't say thank you enough to all you guys.
I just ate the gumbo not long ago.
Michael Christopher says, I watched that Karen Crow and Acadiana game. Was a hell of a game. I heard it came down to a game-winning touchdown by a freshman, my friend.
Right.
Northside bad homecoming game. Yes, I saw that score. Philip says, OC displayed dominant offense and defensive play against Sacred Heart, setting up a district title game against St. Ed's. Joseph Fuller says, we're coming for that Russo and district title game next week. Braden wants to know.
No, I did
top
not.
That 44-4 mark.
No, man, I kind of went down a little bit. I had some teams that I thought were sure in that didn't come up for me. So, nope, not quite.
What y'all think about that Hamilton and East Beauregard game? I tell you what, the panel looks like some fools now. I think
You're right.
I think Hamilton Christian might have got healthy because, wow, what a big night for those guys knocking off East Beau.
Right.
Iowa district champs 2 years in a row.
Go to bed, Nut.
Nuts in the chat? Come on,
He's
now.
watching.
There it is, big man on campus. Hey, let's talk a little Thursday night action, ladies and gentlemen. Basile beats Maryville 36-14. Gary Swallow, you look at that. Basile sets up a chance next week to play East Beauregard. You win, you share the title with Oberlin. So that you know that's a goal of theirs, always to win the title. But you look at it, hey, got a shot. East Beau eliminated from contention for that district title tonight. But Basile, East Beau next week, gonna be fun.
Yes, gonna be a lot of fun.
Southside Lafayette, Southside Sharks bounce back in a big way Thursday night, 56-38.
Offensive firepower on there, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We look at the Sharks bounce back, getting ready for playoff run. Westminster and St. Anne's, I covered that game Thursday night, and 26-13 was the final score. St. Anne's gets the win, but lose a big-time player in the process. So we'll see how that shapes up week 10. Vermilion Catholic Screaming Eagles, they have not lost a district game, I think, in 3-4 years. So you look at that at 48-17. Looked like that was going to be their last test of the year. Screaming Eagles going to go into the playoffs, most likely undefeated, and most likely might be the #1 team in the state of Louisiana now that St. Mary's lost tonight.
Right, it's going to be.
Who they lost to?
St. Mary's?
No.
VC.
That's a
misprint. They're undefeated. They're 8-0. Well, 9-0 now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Southern Lab Kentwood, but boy, was that a game. Southern Lab trailing in the fourth quarter came back with a vengeance to knock off the Roos under the water tower, 33-31. What a game that must have been Thursday night.
That don't happen very often. It must have been an exciting game with that score. Hats off to Southern Lab. Man, anytime you go down to play under the water tower, it's unbelievable. It's hard to do.
You look at Logan Sport St. Mary's for the district title. The Tigers of Logan Sport, your district champs this year. Watch out, Logan Sport might leapfrog Kentwood in those rankings.
Right.
They might be the #1 ranked team coming into tomorrow after a big win over at St. Mary's, 20-3. That's a look at Thursday night action. And some of these wins have set up district championship games in week 10.
Right.
I can't wait to talk about that later on in the show. Let's see what's going on with the chat real quick. Holden, you go shut up that cricket. Big upset made
You
tonight
gotta
with
find him
Hamilton
first.
and East Bow for sure. Absolutely. It was one of the biggest upsets in the state. He says, Bazil's coming back. Y'all know it's time for us to show what we're worthy of. Okay. Coach Kurt says, evening, fellas. The crickets are chirping loud tonight. Your Devils ran into a buzzsaw. Iota is proficient in everything they do in all phases of the game.
Right, and we all knew that. We
Oh,
knew
yeah.
that going in. So
We knew that. They got a big senior class, and they are going to give Church Point a run for that district title next week.
I think so. I think it's going to be very interesting.
How about them Vikings? Looking good since they battle tested in the beginning of the season. Devin Stives in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Cam says, I've got to be honest. Our guys have found a groove. They click better than normal tonight. The Red Devils will be just fine. Cam, you should have saved some points for next week. Didn't have to put up 60. I might pay Holden a fee if he can catch that cricket.
Hey, with the infestation of crickets that they have in Opelousas because of that drought, man, I need help getting them out here and every store along the shopping
Give me a
center.
Red Bull instead.
Mm.
Dragon fruit.
Jose, he said he ain't down for the count like y'all crazy 30 fans in the chat. Iowa started slow but found that groove in the second half. Whew.
Boy, did they.
14-0. Next thing you know, did not allow St. Louis to score in the second half. Boy, tell of two halves.
You right. Great job.
Mamou Pine Prairie played tonight, battled the 0-8s, and Mamou 38-6 winners. Congratulations, Mamou get their first win of the season. Crawley and ERAF lived up to, how you say that, Gary? One of those games where nobody wanted to lose type of nights.
Correct.
47-46, Crawley stuns ERAF tonight, my friend.
That Crowley team, from the first time, the second time, and then just hearing it tonight, they've changed. Their offensive production has
Like
really
that running back,
forward.
or that quarterback,
Running back, quarterback, yeah.
Yes, sir. St. Anne's OC will be a good one, most definitely. Game of the week in week 10. Well, St. Anne's going to be missing a big-time player next week, so it might take a lot away from that game of the week caliber.
Right.
Sulphur and Nish battle it out tonight in New Iberia. 45-34 road win for the Tours. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Coach Cody and those guys over there at Sulphur picking up their third win of the season. Centerville bounced back in a big way tonight. They get it done over Highland Baptist. Wasn't easy to go on the road tonight after a couple weeks in facing adversity, but got the guys together tonight. 36-20 winners over Highland Baptist. Congratulations, Coach, over there. I know that's a big one.
You're right.
Welsh, 7 wins in a row after starting out 0-2. 47-6 over Vinton. Well, guess what, Gary? Welsh and Notre Dame, they have a date next week for the district title.
Yep, and it should be exciting.
Hanson Memorial, no problems with Beauchamp tonight, 48-7. That one still stings. Fort Barry's lost to Beauchamp earlier this year. Still stings because where will we be sitting in the rankings right now?
You're right.
Good
God, that would be awesome.
Cecilia dominating again, 50-0 over Livonia. Bulldogs and Iowa next week. Who's ready for that matchup?
Yeah.
Track meet.
Yeah, you're right.
Lake Arthur de Quincy, boy, that was fun. Final score, 36-35. Lake Arthur on the road. Spall senior night tonight. What a win. 2 years in a row, that game has lived up to the hype.
Right. You know, it's back and forth, tip for tap. That had to have been a very exciting game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For an offense.
Is Jake in the chat?
No, I don't know.
Northwest, no problems tonight with Ville Platte 42-8. Northwest waiting on Iota Church Point Week 10, seeing if they can get a little help and let it be a three-way tie.
Right.
Avoyles knocks off Rose Pond tonight, 22-0. Avoyles was on the bubble. They were sitting at like 27 coming into tonight, so those guys might sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, man, and they did it with authority. You know, shutting out Rose Pine.
And Rose Pine almost.
Dude, that's a scary 2-7 team.
Yes.
That's right.
Rose Pine should be eliminated from the playoff contention after tonight. It's crazy to see a Rose Pine team the last 2 years was in the quarterfinals.
Man, what?
And gonna miss the playoffs this year. But Avoyles, they can get it moving. If they can get a big win next week, I think they're locked in.
Pretty much, yes.
What's helped them is their schedule of who they played.
Mm-hmm. Hamilton Christian knocks off East Beauregard tonight, 54-38. What a win for Coach Washington at Hamilton Christian. That's a big-time upset in the Lake Charles area tonight. Couldn't be happier for him picking up his fourth win. They were on the bubble. They might be in.
Right. And that's, you know, kind of a shock because East Bow was playing decent ball, and then all of a sudden Hamilton Christian just woke up.
Yes, sir.
Look out.
Iota knocks off Port Barry 66-0 tonight. We said it, Iota Church Point next week. Title is either going to be three-way split or it's going to be an outright title for the Badlam Bears. Opelousas Catholic still dominating week in and week out. Tonight, 52-21 over Sacred Heart. That offense is scary good, but the defense is starting to play up to par. And watch out for the Vikings whenever they get into playoff. They make their playoff run.
You're right.
LCA over North Vermilion tonight, 56-7 Night Train Road.
And
Turling spoils Northside's homecoming tonight, 38-20. OHS senior night, big time celebration against Bro Bridge, 51-7. Gina stays perfect on the season tonight. They're 9-0 now, 60-7 over their rival Caldwell Parish. Kinder gets a big win tonight. That's 2 in a row for the Yellow Jackets, 32-21 over Westlake. I highly expect Kinder to get a home playoff game.
Right. Should.
Notre Dame, Holly's Lock of the Week, did not let her down tonight. 46-7 over Grand Lake tonight. Good job, Locke.
Most definitely.
Abbeville, St. Martinville finally got it off of his back, Coach Moy. You can breathe a little sigh of relief after these last few years trying to beat them, trying to get the win. You got the win. Now you shift gears and you go try to win a district title next week.
That's right. Good. Congratulations, Coach Moore. I know this has been on your back for a while, but you got to get knocked off.
And
Good
he
job.
did it on the road.
Yep,
36-28. Gary, that Simon kid next week.
Yeah.
Oh, get ready.
You're right.
Let's see what else is going down in T-Town tonight. Rain and DeRitter battle it out tonight. DeRitter 49-20 over Rain. Jennings knocks off Lake Charles College Prep tonight, 30-28. What a game that was.
You're right.
Jennings is red hot.
Jennings is moving right
Jennings
now,
has
man.
not been slowed down in these last few weeks. Watch out for them. They're in the top 10 of the playoff
Big
rankings
game
right
next
now.
week.
Yes, big
Yeah.
one next week with St. Louis. St. Thomas More Westgate, 31-21. I didn't expect to see the score this close after the way Westgate has played these last few weeks, but looks like St. Thomas More is human after all. These last 2 weeks have proven that they're human after all, Gary.
Yeah, you're right. And that, like I said, that score was closer than I thought it was going to be.
Oakdale, Holy Savior Menard for the title tonight. Menard edges Oakdale 13-12. Holy Savior Menard is your district champs for the first time since 2010.
Wow, that just blows my mind. I was thinking that Oakdale had a chance to take it, but man, Menard must have played a great ball game. And sorry, Mikey, I was pulling for you.
And I think Leesville might have locked up the district championship tonight with a win over Eunice. unless it comes down to Leesville in the rain week 10. I'm not sure. But Leesville tonight, the Wampus Cats 48-24 winners over the Bobcats of Eunice. That's a big time win. It looks like they did not slow down forward.
Right. I don't think so.
What else is going down tonight, my friend? Alexandria falls to West Monroe 23-28. We thought Alexandria had a shot to knock off West Monroe tonight. Fall by 5 points. Oh, what a game.
Yeah, it must have been a great back and forth game.
John F. Kennedy rolled over previous 7-1 Patrick Taylor. 51-0.
Wow.
Church Point stuns Kaplan on senior night tonight. 12-8. Both teams got district championship games to play for next week. They ran into each other tonight, and what a physical war that must have been.
Hopefully, it won't wear them down too much for next week's game. Hopefully, there's no injuries or anything on that, because that must have been an awesome ball.
Kaplan got Abbeville next week. Church Point got Iota next week. It's a knockdown, drag out. It's gonna be some fun.
Right.
Tioga stuns Peabody in overtime tonight, 33-32. Oh,
wow.
What a game and what heartbreak for the War Horses.
I knew that was going to be an exciting ball game, and I tell you what, Peabody's raising some eyebrows, and I can't wait to see him. But Tioga was a better team tonight. Congratulations.
Hard to beat them at the reservation.
You're right.
Catholic and New Iberia shuts out Lowerville tonight, 14-0. Boy,
Well, I didn't
we
see
can't
that.
figure this Lowerville team out, Gary.
No, I didn't see that coming. At home, we've seen New Iberia, Catholic and New Iberia before. A great ball club, but we thought that it was going to be a lot closer, and we didn't see a shutout coming.
When's the last time they got shut out?
At home, I have no idea. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a hard thing to see. But look out.
We were wondering. Oof.
It's tough.
You read that?
Yeah. Kaplan.
3 turnovers, including a fumble at the 1-yard line on 13 goals.
Oh, wow.
Man. That's how you, damn.
That hurts.
Sam Houston, we knew they had a good offense. Could they go and stun the undefeated Edie White team tonight? Edie White, we said questions would be answered these next 2 weeks about how good they actually were when they got Sam Houston 5A team and also St. James next week for the district title.
Right.
So we was going to find out these next 2 weeks about Edie White. Check number 1 in box number 1 with a big win tonight, 45-31 next week for the title.
You're right. Should be an interesting ball game.
Sam Houston, man, they scoring.
Where's that St. James Edie White game at? Somebody want to let us know?
Troy's probably sleeping.
I think I have it right here wrote down. It's going to be at St. James.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Neville, I think they make it 55 straight district games that they've won in a row with a 58-14 win over Franklin Parish. Ascension Catholic, too good tonight over White Castle, 67-26. Homer and Glenbrook, that was a 10-point win for Homer, 38-28. Union Parish and Wassman was in a defensive war tonight. 12-7 was the final score there. Wassman sets up a winner take all next week with Sterlington. And guess where that game's going to be? At Wassman.
Oh, man, that's going to be a good
It's
ball
usually
game.
Union or Sterlington. Now it's Wassman in the fold, right?
Yeah, and then Homer and Haynesville next week for the title.
That's going to be good.
Man.
Destrehan and East St. John, we said this was Destrehan's last test before they get into the playoffs. And Gary, a 10-point win against your rival here tonight, 23-13. Destrehan, your quiet sleeping giant, moves to 9-0, trying to go defend their state championship.
This team, you better watch it. Nobody talks about them. They just do what they have to do, and they win.
It's like you carry your hard hat to work, you come home, you did what you had to do.
That's right. Most definitely.
Santa Mont and Walker tonight. Walker came in red hot tonight, and Santa Mont came in after a big time loss a week ago. But tonight, home field advantage is still a thing in high school football because they get a win tonight, 31-28 over Walker. What a win for those guys.
Right, and you're talking about two good ball clubs. Walker has been performing. This was one of their best years in recent years. This is probably their best year in the last few years. And but Santa Mont, especially coming off of a loss, Jordan. My goodness.
Yeah, watch out for Central when they get in the playoffs. Could go stun some people, especially
You're right.
with Coach Semino's playoff experience.
You're right, most definitely.
Airline knocks off Parkway tonight, 33-16. How many touchdowns Ben Taylor has now?
42.
42
my
big
God.
ones. Good God. Ben Taylor is the real deal.
Sure is.
John Curtis and Brother Martin tonight. JT Curtis, congratulations. You tied a record. You're
Yeah.
forever etched
That's rich.
in history, my friend. 26-7 final score. The record. Did I say something?
The record?
42 on my.
My boy's tired, you know. Bear with him.
Somebody scored
No, that-
42 points?
No,
42 touchdowns.
he's talking about 42.
Oh,
Ben
okay,
Taylor.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He needs a nap.
that Iowa and St. Louis game drained me.
Mm-hmm.
JT Curtis ties the record. He has the opportunity week 10 to have the record, and he got to go get it against Edna Carr.
That's going to be a hard thing to do.
Edna Carr locked up the district tonight, so that will not be a district championship game, but it will be for the all-time lead in wins.
November 2019 is last time Louisville got shut out, and it was by a meet.
Last
Yeah,
time
Lori,
Louisville
wait,
got
Lori.
shut down,
Go ahead, Lori. Thank you.
2019. Hey, Greyhounds in the chat helping us out tonight. George Pepper's in the chat. Hope all is well. Did SDM in Westgate tonight? Would love to know how that one finished out. A 10-point win for STM. And if you have not saw the game that we covered tonight, George Peppers, please go back and rewatch that Iowa and St. Louis game. I think we're all pretty drained from it.
You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. Great ball game. Tale of two halves.
And then St. Louis, Iowa, 26-21 winners for Iowa. We'll talk about that game in a moment. And then Acadiana knocking off the number 1 team in the state list this week. Big Brother is still Big Brother. 27-26. A freshman receiver for the game winner.
Let me tell you something. Acadiana is, everybody knows that Acadiana has been my favorite team in the Acadiana area for a long time. I am shocked by the way that they won, but Karen Crow had the lead and, was doing everything they needed to do, and then Acadiana flexed their muscles and came back and won.
Yes, you're
So,
right, my friend.
congratulations. Fear the Veer, even though it was a pass that won it.
Yeah. And the game that we covered tonight, ladies and gentlemen, boy, did it live up to the hype. Congratulations, Iowa, district champs, and rightfully so, with a big-time comeback in that game. 14-0, you were trailing. You came back, and you pretty much dominated the second half, my friend.
When you have
was there?
two
Keenan was at the game, I guess.
when you have two teams that are as good as those two teams are, and you watch it, it's a tale of two halves. I mean, you have a 14-0 lead, dominating the first half.
And then
It was 21 to 6. 21 to
Bro,
6.
think about this, Gary. It was 14-0, and Iowa stepped out at the 4-yard line.
Right.
So they didn't have any momentum in that first half.
No, none whatsoever.
So think about that. They were 4th and 20-something? 4th and 19? Quarterback broke loose, stepped out at the 4. It was still 14-0 after that point. So St. Louis had all the momentum in the first half.
Oh, most definitely. And then in
But
the
they
second
did
half,
not put the game away.
oh no, they didn't. But in the second half, it was like I said, a tale of two halves. It was like a totally different team came out of that locker room, and they started. First of all, they shut down St. Louis.
Tell me, how important was it to score right there before halftime for Iowa?
Oh, it was very important. Very important for them to go out there and score and make turn it into a 21 to 12 ball game?
21-12.
21. They
Right
was
before
6 to
halftime.
12.
They scored with 11 seconds
Yeah, they
left.
scored with 11 seconds.
Oh,
on
the
the clock.
first score.
The first score was
It was before half. That was
no, it was their second score.
Yeah, it
The
was
first-
21-6. They went
yeah.
down and they went like a 2-for-1
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, they did something like that. But anyway, it was very important for them to get that score right before half. Then they got the ball first in the second half, and we talked about it. It was so important for them to go down and score.
Cut it to 2
And cut
points.
it to 2 points, and they did. They drove the ball. They drove the ball down the field and dominated the time of possession in the second half, and just drove the ball down the field and scored. Then it was just a matter of time.
And time, I think St. Louis had the ball for 11 plays in the second half.
Yep.
Right. I mean,
And I think
that's.
Iowa had 17 minutes of time of possession in the second half.
Oh no, that's
That's a
unbelievable.
quarter. That's a whole quarter, and then
some.
And then some.
Right. So you had basically 17 and 7-ish minutes, 7.5, something like that.
But boy, wasn't it fun.
Wow, it was, I won't lie to you, best game I saw this year
Yes.
was that game right there that we covered tonight.
It
And
lived
once
up to the
again,
hype.
lived up to the highs.
Both sides, the fan bases were incredible.
Oh, most definitely. And once again, we want to thank everybody at Iowa and everybody at St. Louis for allowing us to go out there and actually cover this game. It was so exciting. A lot of things happened. You know, all I can say is that, man, this game lived up to the hype.
Holden +2 in the turnover battle. Iowa got 2 turnovers tonight. Big time difference maker in this one.
Yeah. Was it a fumble
And a game-sealing
interception? Yeah. Once Iowa got the lead, it kind of took St. Louis's game plan out the way because they were running the ball and Iowa couldn't stop it at first, and then Iowa made some adjustments and they shut it down.
Yeah, it was a different team coming out of halftime for sure.
Most definitely.
We started looking at some contenders going into this Week 10 and playoff week, my friend. And you start looking around the state of Louisiana, and this Wasserman team is starting to turn a couple heads. What y'all think about this Wasserman team?
They good, man.
Their defense is really good. They got Sterlington next week. Are you convinced they knock off Sterlington next week that we have to watch out for them to make a run for the Dome?
I think it's going to be a back and forth game. I think it's going to be a really good, a good heads up game that will be very enjoyable.
Iowa Cecilia next week. Winner of that has major momentum going into the playoffs.
Most definitely.
It should be a fun one, huh? Diesel versus what was our quarterback's name tonight? Number 7, Josiah. Diesel versus Josiah next week. Oh, that's gonna be a fun quarterback showdown.
Track me.
I think so too.
I love Iowa people, by the way.
Yeah.
Y'all are amazing.
Who else is contenders-ish? Gary, Gina, they're 9-0. They got I think Buckeye next week, so
I feel like
I think they're gonna be 10-0 going into the playoffs, ranked number 1 in the state.
And you know what's crazy? That's a team that's not being talked about a lot. It's true. And they're freaking good.
They are.
Jennings is red hot right now. You look at Welsh, red hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a couple teams from that area. What can they do when they get in the playoffs? Going to be in two different divisions.
Well, when you get in the playoffs, you take the slate and you wipe it clean. Okay, you're starting brand new. Now you're going by your seeding, but still, it's a brand new slate. You don't know who's going to do what.
You look at Neville. Only loss this year was a 3-point loss to Ruston.
Correct.
They're sitting 8-1 right now. What can the Tigers do
Neville's still going to be Neville.
next in the playoffs?
Neville is going to be Neville forever. You know, and
They can make a run in that Division I bracket.
if anybody can, they can.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, playoff start, man, it don't matter. Them records get thrown out.
Right.
And a team like Neville, nobody wants to see in the playoffs.
Who else we're looking at, Mr. Swallow? I think LCA, St. Thomas More, next week when you look at that matchup, the way St. Thomas More has looked these last 2 weeks and the way LCA has looked the last 9 weeks. And Night Train gets them at home. Revenge, oh so sweet.
Right. You're right. I got to give you that. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't know what happened with STM tonight.
And last week.
And last week as far as, point production. But LCA is clicking on all cylinders right now. And I would hate to play them no matter what.
Sterlington's only loss this year came to West Monroe. Think about that and what they've done since that time period. Sterlington wins this football game next week against Wassman.
Right.
We got to start talking about them making a run for a title.
You're right. You're most definitely right.
Who Wassman lost to? I'm sorry, I'm so delirious right now.
Good question.
I'm not the go look. I'm so
Vermilion
tired.
Catholic, 9-0, my friend. You heard?
Right, yeah, VC.
BC is 9-0. They're trying to go 10-0 into the playoffs, ranked #1 in the state. Can we see the Screaming Eagles back at the Dome?
Damn, there was,
Yeah,
there
we
was
sure
a
can.
Calvary, and it was a good game.
Calvert
21-6.
Baptist is 9-0.
Man,
What else, Gary? What else we have on this paper? Anybody else sticks out to you? John F. Kennedy sits 8-1. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, and that's part of that crew from New Orleans. Look out, you can't. I don't know what it is about New Orleans, man. All of those schools down there are good.
LCA wins by 17 next week. I'm starting to believe it.
It's possible. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't think I'll pick against LCA, for a while unless there's a good reason to pick against them. But man,
Gary,
unbelievable.
home St. James beats E.D. White next week. Do we start thinking they might have a shot to get to the Dome?
If they beat E.D. White, that's gonna be a good ball game.
Yeah.
They may.
That's,
They may. But I'm gonna tell you, E.D. White's gonna be hard to beat.
who did E.D. White lose? I mean, St. James.
Yeah.
They lost to Lutcher. No, I'm thinking of the wrong team. I'm thinking of St. Charles.
Yeah,
It's
no,
time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Man,
No.
I have to go look.
E.D. White's gonna be a hard team to beat for anybody.
Ray, do you know about Hart who St. James lost to? I'm going to look it up right now.
I think they lost by 1 point in overtime?
No loss to East St. John first game of the season.
Who's that?
That's what he said. No loss to East St. John
Oh, yeah.
first game of the season.
Man. And it's like they rolling now. I feel like
Right.
they would play them now, they would beat these things.
Right. Was up 20-0 in that game.
Wow.
Blew it.
Wow.
So
they
St.
blew it.
James really is legit.
Yeah, beat E.D. White next week. You better start putting them in your title contentions, Hold'em.
That's right.
Hey, let's go games of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Swallow, you got the pleasures of starting us out because this week 9 was something special.
I know it was. Games of the night, and then I got upsets of the night and statement wins on that. But my games of the night, other than the one we covered, is West Monroe beating Airline. I think that
Alexander.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alexander.
He's delirious too.
Yeah, I am delirious on that. West Monroe, Holy Savior Menard beating Oakdale, and believe it or not, Church Point over Kaplan.
Hey, it's 3 good games there,
Yes,
my
sir.
friend.
I think that's the games that really stood out to me.
Holden, games of the night.
Why you skip over you, man?
I'll go last.
I'm gonna just pick. I'm gonna pick two. I'm gonna do Acadiana over Karen Crow, coming back and winning the fourth quarter by one. I think that was huge.
Yeah.
That's a damn good game. And another game of the night, I think was. Well, I would kind of say probably Thursday was Southern Lab coming back and beating Kentwood in the fourth
Hey,
quarter.
2-point
That
win.
was too good, yeah.
Great game on Thursday for sure.
Right.
I'm gonna go games of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Acadiana over Karen Crew. That one lived up to the rivalry.
Right, most definitely.
Iowa over St. Louis. Absolutely. That was a phenomenal game tonight. Tioga over Peabody in overtime. Lake Arthur edging DeQuincy by 1 point. And Crawley knocking off ERAF by 1 point tonight is my games of the night.
Cool. They were all good.
Upsets of the night, you got any?
I think, and it's not really an upset because they're good, but because of their records, it's an upset. Avoyelles over Rose Pine.
I have no idea. I don't know anybody from Central.
Yeah, on that. Hamilton Christian over East Bow. And DeRidder over Rankin.
Holden, any upsets?
Pick every freaking team and you can't pick none.
Right, you said the same ones.
Is that pretty much the same?
Shoot. Damn, man. It's rankings wise, it could be an upset. Me personally, I don't think it's an upset because it's a damn good team. Iowa over St. Louis.
Okay.
Just
Right.
because of ranking wise, St. Louis is ranked higher.
Right.
That's.
Okay.
And that's a good one.
I don't want to pick any other games because it's kind of obvious. So
Right.
some.
I got Church Point over Kaplan tonight, knocking off the 7-1 team at their senior night.
Mm-hmm.
DeRidder over Rain because of schedules wise,
Right.
records wise. I mean,
Right.
Avoyelles over Rose Pine tonight. That was a 1-win Avoyelles team knocking off Rose Pine on their senior night.
Right.
And I got Helmuton Christian knocking off East Beauregard. And I mean, Thibodeau over Terrebonne is a big time upset, but we didn't cover the game on Wednesday night, so we're just going over games that we covered Wednesday night.
Right. Yeah.
UTL statement win of the night. Who gets it?
Okay. Southern Lab over Kentwood.
Thursday night?
Yeah, Thursday night. That was one. Abbeville over St. Martinville. I think that was a big statement win for Coach Moore and for his Acadiana over Karen Crow.
Okay. Holden?
My statement win is gonna be. Man, that's tough. I'm gonna make it just short and sweet. My favorite school in the state, Iowa, beating St. Louis.
He even said favorite school over Carr.
Wow.
I really like Iowa, man. I love that stadium and those people. That's good people.
That's pretty good.
UTL statement win of the night from myself. Abbeville over St. Martinville to set up a winner-take-all next week. Wassman knocking off Union Parish. That same Union Parish team played for a couple of state titles these last few years.
Right.
Logan Sport knocking off St. Mary's for the district title Thursday night. Acadiana over Karen Crow tonight. Big brother, little brother. And then Church Point going into Kaplan's house and knocking them off on senior night. Give them their second loss of the season. Earns UTL statement wins of the night.
Right.
Gary, you got some helmet stickers to give away?
Yes, I do, and it's a couple of them are obvious because of their record. My first helmet sticker goes to Acadiana because they're one of my favorite teams. But
They have favorites.
I have favorites a lot. Acadiana for doing what they did. West Monroe for getting back on in the swing of things, and then the rest are just special teams for their record. E.D. White, Church Point, Gina, and St. Thomas More.
Undefeated foes.
Undefeated foes. That's it.
West Monroe sits 8-1.
8-1 now, yeah. But West Monroe's, you know, I have a special place in my heart for West Monroe. Yeah. Chris, that's free.
Holy, how much stickers tonight?
Man, you know, I'm gonna give it to Lake Arthur. They and a few other teams, but Lake Arthur was down this game and they came back and ended up beating DeQuincy. And another helmet sticker I'm gonna give to is JT Curtis for tying the win.
That was a good one.
Okay. Helmet stickers, my friend. I got my two teams that won this week from the games we covered. So St. Ed's gets a helmet sticker from myself. Iowa gets the other helmet sticker. JT Curtis and John Curtis gets the third helmet sticker for the record tying tonight. Notre Dame gets the other sticker for Holly's Lock of the Week. And then Abbeville knocking off St. Martinville gets the fifth helmet sticker. Moy finally gets St. Martinville off his back.
Right. All of those are great. You know, it's gonna. All it does is it sets up a week 10 that is gonna be phenomenal.
Yes,
I can't wait.
let's look into the future right now. Then East St. John at Holy Cross next week. Iowa at Cecilia next week. Sterlington at Wasserman next week for the district title.
Right.
Parkview Baptist at ULAB next week for the district title. Zachary at Catholic of Baton Rouge next week for the district title. Haynesville at Homer next week for the district title. Notre Dame at Welsh next week for the district title. Kaplan at Abbeville next week for the district title. Ruston at West Monroe next week for the district title. Karen Crow's going to head down and play Shaw next week. Newman at St. Charles next week for the district title. E.D. White at St. James next week for the district title. Iota and Church Point, district title implications on the line. St. Thomas More at LCA next week for the district title.
They had some last week in the regular season's tough.
OC at St. Ed's next week, outright or share for the district title. Marksville at Bunkie next week, Catskin game, big time rivalry. And then John Curtis at Edna Carr next week for the record.
That's right. That, I tell you what, you know, that in itself, if Curtis can beat Carr, that in itself is going to be special, with having the record involved in that too. But man, Edna Carr, John Curtis beating Edna Carr, that's going to be a hard thing to do.
Yes, indeed. Closes out, my friend. Final words as we head into week 10.
Man, week 10 is going to be awesome. Week 9 was great. Exciting game we called tonight. I'm kind of working on fumes right now because we had such a great game. Thank you to everybody, seniors and all you players. You got one more week of regular season. Those of you who are going to make the playoffs, congratulations. Those of you who are not, play this last week, you know, to your heart's content. Do your best, have fun, and make memories that'll last a lifetime. Congratulations, and see you next week.
Final words, Holton.
Man, a few weeks ago, it felt like the season just started, and now all of a sudden next week we're in week 10, man.
That's because you missed a couple weeks.
I know, but it's just like, man, it's just moving, bro. Dome's gonna be here sooner than we think, but man, I've had a great year so far, man. It's been really fun for me so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying up late with us tonight for the late night edition of the Recap Show. Promise you, next week will be a lot more exciting, and we'll bring the energy next week. But as of tonight, we say good night from Opelousas, Louisiana. Big Week 10 in store next week. You're not going to want to miss the Wednesday night show. You're not going to want to miss the Thursday and Friday games, and you're definitely not going to want to miss the Friday night recap show, and also the Sunday bracket reveal will be epic when we come together and talk the playoffs. But we say good night from myself, Jordan Taylor, Gary Swallow, and Holden Lee. Have a good rest of your weekend, ladies and gentlemen. God bless high school football, and God bless UTL.
Does Jake usually watch the shows after the next day?
He was on.
Hey, Jake.
That's how my feet feels.
Start, boy. I love it.